Hello my dear children, how are you all? I welcome to your civics class. Children, in the previous class we read about, or I should say I explained you about the gender, caste and religion and various factors which affect these. Moreover, I also told you that how gender in politics, how gender and the public and the private life, the feminist movements, the hierarchy that was there, the patriarchal society, how all these were dominant in the Indian society, and till date they are dominant. What changes we need to have to uplift the condition of women in the country, that I will be telling you today. Children, we always, there are several expectations from the women. Now see, this picture tells you perceptions of ideal women. You can see several things over here, and you can make out that how a woman is projected in the Indian society, what all is expected from her. Now coming to this, though everything is, several things are expected from her, but still, to bring out the better condition of the women, there have been several movements. Political mobilization has helped women in improving their lot part apart from enhancing their role and status in public life. Women today are working as scientists, doctors, engineers, teachers, lawyers, managers, defense officers, etc. They are even working in fields which were earlier not considered safe and suitable for them. Now if you take example of the roles that they have been doing, if you remember the dream of the dream of Sultana, in that she dreamt that women are flying planes. Now this has become a reality in the present world. Women are now flying planes. They are doing it, and what was once considered as a dream has now come to its true self. They are even working in such fields which were earlier not considered safe and suitable for them. In some countries such as Sudan, Norway, Finland, the participation of women in public life is very higher. In the previous class I told you about all these. Now coming to women in India. Women in India, they lag behind men in almost every field despite various actions taken by government. Children, government has been doing a lot for the upliftment of women, but then though the government is doing the needful that is required, but still the things, the policies, the schemes are not reaching the right person. Since independence, India continues to be a highly male dominated patriarchal society. Women in India are subjected to various kinds of oppressions, disadvantages and discriminations which get reflected in various ways. Coming to education, in comparison with their male counterparts, almost 70% literacy, the literacy rate among women is just 54%. Similarly, the percentage of girls going to higher studies is significantly low when compared to boys. Even though girls perform better than the boys in schools, but there is a large number of cases of girls drop out from schools. Children, we very well know that what are the reasons behind it. Because being a male society, male dominating society, the family does not want the girl to go out for higher studies. They prefer the boys for higher studies, and they also feel that there is no point sending them out because it is the boy who will ultimately be the bread earner of the family. But all these perceptions are becoming wrong. In the present time, the girl or the female is also the bread earner of the family.
Okay.
Children, now talking about gender and politics. If you remember in the previous class, I told you about the public-private division. In this public-private division, we talked about the sexual division of labor. In this sexual division of labor, we read about how in our country the work is defined in the home front and outside the house. I hope I need not explain much further about this. Coming to the feminist movements, now because of the discrimination that is practiced with the females in the country, there were several, feminist movements were organized by many of the male members even of the society to give equal status to the women as well. Then women in education, just now I told you about women in education, how discrimination is practiced in imparting education also to the women. There is just 76, the percentage is just 56 when it comes to women education. Then in jobs also discrimination is practiced. Now coming to this job part, there are, even in the present times, there are many jobs which, the valuable jobs that are not assigned to the women, because it is felt that they will not be able to do justification to the higher post that they will be given. Now these kind of perceptions which are there, we need to get rid of all such things, because these perceptions are not good. See, if you take example of your school, we have the MD who is a female, and how how balanced she is, the way she is running the institution, the way she is keeping a balance between everything that she has to do. This shows that even women can also, the higher posts can also be given to the women in the society or in the jobs that are there. Coming to the equal wages. Now, there are several institutions where there is discrimination practiced in giving wages to the females. There are, at present also, there are several institutions where there is no equality in wages. So just to overcome this disparity that was there, that Equal Wage Remuneration Act came into being in the year 1976, which stated that all people who are working under an institution will, of a similar job, will be given equal wages. Now coming to the sixth point, that is gender discrimination. Children, this gender discrimination you have been reading since class, I think, 6. In this gender discrimination, we all know that the Indian society is a male dominating society where the boy child is preferred over a girl child. Now because of this discrimination, the ratio, the sex ratio or the male female ratio that you either the sex ratio or the male female ratio, if you see, it is quite less in our country, is very less. Or you can say, in other words, you can say the sex ratio is not a balanced ratio. Now why it is not a balanced ratio? Because in most of the northern states of the country, the society is, gender discrimination is practiced in this society, where people or the head of the family members, they prefer a boy child over a girl child. Now children, if you look at this map of India, this map of India shows us the child sex ratio in the country in the year 2001. As we all know, why 2001? As we all know, the census takes place after every 10 years. So when the census were done in 2001, that time the sex ratio that came up was like this. Now if you look at this map, you will find out the dark brown color and the red shades which are there. It shows huge difference, huge imbalance in the male female sex ratio, right? Now look at this, keeping this, all these things in mind, we come to know that throughout the country the percentage of the females is quite less in the northern part of the country. Children, there is a declining child sex ratio in our country. The map which I had shown you, that map also states that in many parts of India, parents still prefer to have sons rather than daughters and resort to various tricks for avoiding and eliminating girl child. Now this declining child sex ratio, this has given birth to an epidemic which has a new meaning now. In a country where a selective human breeding is rampant figures throw up some of the most sterling trends in history. India represents one of the most adverse child sex ratio figures amongst the Southeast Asian countries, reflecting a highly undesirable reversal of norms of nature. Children, next point is exploitation and violence against women. Children, if you see that the crime rate and the exploitation rate has been increasing day by day against women even after having several laws. In India, the crime against women is always on the rise. They are subjected to various kinds of harassment, exploitation, and violence. Urban areas have become particularly unsafe for women. Every day in the newspaper, there are several news stating that this happened, that happened, this way the woman was exploited, this way the girl was exploited. Women are today not safe within their own home and are subjected to various kinds of domestic violence. Children, this picture shows that International Day for Violence Against Women. See, we can see, women are taking initiative, for against whatever is done against them, the violence that is there, for the protection of the violence also, to protect women from this domestic violence. The Domestic Violence Act was also implemented by the Indian government. But then all these things are in vain. There is no certainty, there is no, check that whether these laws are being followed or not. Children, coming to the next point, that is the women's political representation. Children, if you see, excuse me, the issues related to women's well-being are either neglected or not given adequate attention by the political leaders. This has led to various feminist movements in the country. The main objective of these movements is women empowerment. They have come to the conclusion that unless women control power, their problems will never the same and will not get adequate attention. Now, coming to the political participation, if you see, comprising over 50% of the world's population, women continue to be underrepresented in the political scenario. Vital Voices believe that the equitable representation of women in politics has the power to transform our world. We continue to build emerging women leaders and support established women leaders in politics to give women a stronger voice and promote universal progress. Now, children, coming to this political representation, though in Lok Sabha in 2013 a bill was passed which stated that there has to be 33% of participation. 1/3 seats will be given to the women representatives. But because after the bill was passed, the government changed. Again, there was no consideration on that bill. Till date, there is no, nobody has picked up that issue, that bill to re-study. Children, if we look at the data that are given in the book, the data says that in India, the proportion of women in legislature has been very low. For example, the percentage of elected women members in Lok Sabha has touched around 12% of its total strength for the first time in 2014, and their share in the state assemblies is less than 5%. In this respect, if you see, India is among the bottom group of nations in the world. Now, now this graph actually, look at the graph which is given over here. This graph shows that there is the participation that we have in the Nordic countries has maximum of participation in politics. In America, it is approximately 25%. In Europe, less than America and Nordic countries. Then, as we move towards as we move towards Asia, Arab states, the Pacific parts, and the Indian part, if you see, there is just 11.8% of participation of women in politics, and which is 24% of the world's average, if you see. Now, children, India is behind the averages for several developing countries of Africa and Latin America. In the government, cabinets are largely all male, even when a woman becomes the chief minister or the prime minister. If you see in India, we had only one women prime minister and one women president. That is, Srimati Indira Gandhi was the first women president of the prime minister of the country, and Srimati Pratibha Patil was the first ever women president of the country. Now, one way to solve this problem is to make it legally binding to have a fair proportion of women in the elected bodies. This is what the Panchayati Raj has done in India. 1/3 of seats in local government bodies in panchayats and municipalities are now reserved for women. And now there are more than 10 lakh elected women representatives in rural and urban local bodies. Women's organizations and activists have been demanding a similar reservation of at least 1/3 of seats in the Lok Sabha and state assemblies for women. A bill with this proposal has been pending before the parliament for more than a decade. They are talking about the same, women bill that I told you about, which was represented in the Lok Sabha in the year 2013, and after that no action has been taken on that. Now, children, gender division is an example that some form of social divisions need to be expressed in politics. This also shows that disadvantaged groups do benefit when social divisions become a political issue. And children, do you think that women could have made the gains we noted above if their unequal treatment was not raised in the political domain? Now, this gives you a question that, do you think that if they are represented properly in the parliament, they may bring some reforms, some improvement in the condition of the women? So children, with this we come to an end to the first part of the chapter, that is gender and politics. Let us recapitulate. In this topic today, we read about public-private division, we read about feminist movements, women and education, then in jobs discriminations that is practiced, equal wages are not given to them, but they were given once the Equal Wage Remuneration Act was imposed in 1976. Then gender discrimination we read about. I also told you about the declining child sex ratio, which was considered as an epidemic. Exploitation and violence against women, and last topic that we covered was the women's political representation.